into their life, coming, they take them places, they go here, and it's always been me and him. He don't have nobody. I'm all he has, and he is all I have. What if I die tomorrow? My other kids can go somewhere. Where's he gonna go?
After I found out that she said she was pregnant, I blocked her on all social media and everything, because I thought she was crazy. She called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
I dropped my son off at the babysitter's. I would tell my husband I was going somewhere else. We would meet up we had what I wanted sexually. I was so excited because this guy gave me what I wanted. Scared to go in there and jerk my clothes off and say, I want you like this.
Can you believe this? Ms. Polzin breaks down the reason they're all gathered in court today. She's determined to prove that Mr. Callender is indeed the father of her daughter, Zoe, despite his persistent denial due to her past infidelities. She's here not just to clear the air, but to save what's left of their roller coaster relationship. You've got to see what's coming up next.
Ms. Polzin, you've summoned Ms. of salvaging what is left of your relationship. You say he denies your daughter Zoe, but today you intend to prove paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you love and have created a bond with her, but Ms. Polzin has a cheating past, and that is why you are convinced aren't Zoe's father.
That's correct.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Callender lays out his doubts about being Zoe's father, blaming a dark cloud of uncertainty that's been looming over their relationship. This unresolved issue of paternity is a constant battle, stirring up strife and tension. Just wait for the drama that unfolds after this.
It's like a dark cloud hovering over us, keeping us, I think it's preventing us from moving forward. Just the uncertainty, not knowing 100% that I'm her father.
Specifically, how is it affecting your relationship with Mr. Callender?
It keeps us in constant turmoil, constant fussing and fighting over it. I'm just ready for it to be clarified, for it to be done.
Here's where it gets spicy. They dive into how their relationship rekindled. They started chatting again when Ms. Polzin was technically still in another relationship, thanks to Mr. Callender reaching out on Facebook. The complications just keep piling up from here. Brace yourselves for the next bit.
Did you know she was in another relationship when you pursued her?
But she said they were separate, living in different rooms, and she was in the process of moving her things out of the residence.
So you thought this relationship pretty much over?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Did you hack around though?
She would come see me on lunch breaks, after she got off work.
Absolutely jaw-dropping. We get into the nitty-gritty of when Ms. Polzin announced her pregnancy just a week after she moved out from her previous beau's place. Mr. Callender can't help but worry about the messy timeline and the lingering question. Could her ex still be in the picture? The plot thickens immensely in the next clip.
Well, it was about a week after she had moved into her apartment after getting most of her things out of the residence.
A week?
But I was only having sexual contact with Mr. Callender. Me and were living in separate rooms. We had a lot of asset work out between that relationship.
Finally gets out from relationship with the ex, and a week later says to you, I'm pregnant.
This part pulls on the heartstrings, but keeps you chuckling. Despite all his reservations, Mr. Callender was right there in the delivery room, showing up for not only the birth, but nearly every prenatal checkup. Talk about commitment. But don't relax just yet. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Take me to the birth. When Zoe was born, were you there, Callender?
Yes, Your Honor.
You participated. Showed up for the birth?
That and mostly every doctor visit.
Every doctor. So even though you were doubtful, you participated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you wanted to be there?
I wanted to be there for the baby and for Rachel.
When she was born, did you sign her birth certificate?
They wouldn't allow me to.
Cue the waterworks and a bit of laughter. Mr. Callender's mom, Ms. Allen, steps up to the plate, hoping against hope that her son really is Zoe's dad. Her testimony brings a mix of tears and heartfelt moments, painting a picture of the deep bonds at stake. The tension is about to ramp up even more, so stay tuned.
Step over to the podium. State your name for the court.
Karen Allen.
Miss Allen, what relationship are you to Mr. Callen?
I'm his mother.
You are his mother. What do you know about the paternity surrounding baby Zoe? Do you believe you're...
I hope and pray that is. We have very strong bond.
And I can see how emotional that makes you. You love the baby?
Yes, ma'am. This relationship started with a hot mess.
Get ready for some eyebrow-raising theories. Ms. Polzin steps forward with her personal exhibit, arguing why she believes Mr. Callender has to be the father. She lists physical similarities and shared behaviors that she thinks make a compelling case, even though it's all still up in the air without DNA proof. What happens next will definitely catch you off guard.
These are reasons why I believe that Mr. Callender is the father. Him and Zoe both have the same attitude. They are very particular about things, such as the way they like foods and things like that, and they don't get their way. They'll throw a fit until they get what they want. I do not act like that.
Same temperament?
Yes.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Callen, you are the father.
The The courtroom is buzzing from the start. Ms. Jackson accuses Mr. Figures of being a Casanova who left her after a brief romance, resulting in a pregnancy. She firmly believes that he is the biological father of her son, Neil, and has been searching for him for 2 decades to prove paternity. If you think this is intense, just wait till you hear what's next. Buckle up, it's quite the ride.
Ms. Jackson, you say Figures was a smooth-talking Casanova who swept you off feet and out of your clothes and then left you with a baby. You claim he disappeared 20 years ago, and now you want to prove that he is definitely your son, Daniil's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plot thickens early on. Mr. Figures, maintaining his composure, acknowledges his past as a ladies' man, but firmly denies being the father of Ms. Jackson's child. He questions the likelihood of him being Daniil's father, given his past relationships. But don't go anywhere. The twists are just getting started.
You admit to being a former ladies' man. You say there's no way you fathered Ms. Jackson's child.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the narrative unfolds, the emotional layers deepen. Ms. Jackson recounts how she met Mr. Figures at a young age while searching for love and companionship. She describes her immediate physical attraction to him, which she clarifies was infatuation, not love. Strap in, because the drama is about to escalate.
I had a baby at 16. I couldn't take care of her. So my family actually told me, go better yourself. Go to job or do what you need to do. Look for love in all the wrong places. I met him like on maybe a Friday or Saturday night. When I saw him, the long, curly black hair, he was gorgeous.
Things are getting juicier by the minute. A discussion about their past relationship reveals that Ms. Jackson and Mr. Figures had unprotected intimate violence encounters, which Ms. Jackson asserts led to her pregnancy. Mr. Figures reluctantly confirms this, but remains skeptical about his paternity. The next part is a real doozy. Stay tuned.
So the bottom line, you all did have a sexual relationship. So Mr. Figures, you acknowledge that?
Yes, ma'am.
You did. Did you use protection? Were you guys using protection at the time?
Well, no, ma'am, we didn't.
No.
I definitely know it wasn't just me.
You'll want to lean in for this bit. Mr. Figures describes a specific intimate moment they shared outdoors, which he refers to as the green grass, a nickname for their private rendezvous. Ms. Jackson corroborates the story, remembering the cute nicknames they used. But hang tight, the story takes a wild turn just ahead.
We used to have these little things that was called a green grass. We could go out, pick a spot, get to know each other, per se. That's what we did one night. At that time, when you're younger, sometimes people change their names, have these, call yourself little nicknames or whatever. So at that time, that was me. See, she remember. I had another friend also. His name was
Mustafa.
She got a good memory.
Here's where things really start to heat up. A dramatic revelation occurs when Mr. Figures recalls an incident during intimacy where Ms. Jackson mistakenly called out another man's name, suggesting she may have been involved with someone else, which she vehemently denies. Don't wander off. What comes next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
She calls my name twice. Third time, she called his name.
Oh!
Now, I admit I didn't stop because we was in the middle of but
He is so lying.
really? And to this day, she'll say she doesn't remember that.
Do you remember that part?
No.
Brace yourself for more revelations. When Ms. Jackson discovers she is pregnant, Mr. Figures is one of the potential fathers she considers. However, she also mentions another man who was supportive during her pregnancy, causing confusion about the child's paternity. The plot thickens, and the truth is about to come to light.
You know what I'm saying? They gave me a pregnancy test. I'm stunned. I'm actually in shock. I don't have my family. Really trying to
Had
focus
another
on
guy that she was dealing with. Why you coming to me telling me?
dealing with.
I was the one that had sex with him.
Dealing with someone, meaning he had my back. Don't meaning we having sex.
This part tugs at the heartstrings. Daniil, the son in question, expresses his frustration and disappointment about growing up without a father. He discusses the emotional and social challenges he faced, highlighting the absence of a paternal figure in his life. But just when you think it's all out in the open, there's more to uncover.
Totally different from sexing this man.
Come on.
Put it like this. If this man, because I get in contact with him at any time, if he knew that this
no
was his
sex,
child, why would I be doing this after 20 years? You know what I'm saying?
'Cause maybe
if
you don't
look
know.
at my son, look at this man, there's no way in God's green earth anybody could ever think that this other man is his.
The court session intensifies as Daniil explains the strong bond he shares with his mother due to their struggles. He expresses a lack of interest in establishing a relationship with Mr. Figures, regardless of the DNA test outcome. Keep your eyes peeled, the climax is just around the corner. The moment everyone's been waiting for is finally here.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Figures, you are not the father.
Oh my God.
Buckle up, folks! Ms. Adams kicks things off with a bombshell, explaining her entanglement in a love triangle while firmly declaring Mr. Spencer as the father of her twins. She's all in, ready to prove his paternity today in court. If you thought this was juicy, just wait for what's next.
Ms. Adams, you say you were in a love triangle and now the defendant doesn't believe he fathered your 13-month-old twins. You testify that you are 100% certain he is. Plan to prove it today in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your coffee. Mr. Spencer throws a curveball of doubt about his fatherhood, hinting another dude might be the real daddy, and plans to ghost Ms. Adams if the test says he's not the father. Strap in, because the roller coaster is just getting started.
You say the plaintiff needs to make up her mind about who her child's father is. You state that another man claiming the babies were his. You say when the results reveal you are not father, plan to cut off all communication.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can't make this up. Ms. Adams spills the tea on how she got tangled in the love web, painting a picture of her post-breakup vulnerability and her casual fling with Mr. Spencer that led nowhere fast. The twists keep coming, so keep your eyes peeled.
Well, to be honest with you, I got caught up in a love triangle because with the same man for 13 years, I had separated, kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like I had went out actually one day, to the bar. That's when I had met Marquis. Started, having dealings with each other and things like that.
You were in a long-standing relationship, and then you broke up. And during that time, intimate with Mr. Spencer.
Things just got real. We dive into when Ms. Adams discovered she was pregnant and how she was so sure Mr. Spencer was the dad, she even told his family right off the bat. What happens next is even more mind-boggling.
So take me to the point where you find out you're pregnant.
I had found out I was pregnant during the time that Keith Spencer had went away. Found out that same week that I was pregnant.
The point you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told a family member of Marquis Spencer I was currently pregnant and that I need to tell him immediately.
Told Mr. Spencer's family member?
Yes.
Did that just happen? As external pressures mount, Ms. Adams recounts how her ex's family threw her certainty for a loop, making her second guess the twins' paternity. It's a tangled web that's about to get even more knotted.
But what happened, the way that my ex came into the picture is because once I had the babies, pictures went out on the internet. That's when my ex-mother called me and said that those are my grandbabies, just like my son.
Had you been thinking of that in the back of your mind all
Never.
this time?
I was starting to hear it so much. I was getting so many phone calls from like my ex side of the family and everything about the boy. Marianne, they were saying he looked like my ex and everything.
No way she didn't. In a plot twist, Miss Adams admits to playing both sides, telling both Mr. Spencer and her ex that they might be the daddy, all to maneuver her way back into her ex's arms. The emotional whirlwind doesn't stop here, folks.
Where are you in the story? You're telling both men now it's their twin?
After I had the babies, Marquis was around for the first month. Throughout that whole month, it was like so much drama. It was like all over again. When I got that phone call from his mom called him, so he called me and was like, Christian, I'm hearing that it's a chance those babies are mine. Is that true?
Grab your popcorn. Tensions escalate as Mr. Spencer and the twins' grandmother hash it out in court, exposing the deep emotional rifts and the messy battle over who's the real father. The big reveal is up next, and it's a doozy.
The first week that they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said, by now, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these, there's something ain't right. So she sent me the pictures. So I'm like, oh my God. I started sending them through the family, and the family's like, oh my God, these babies. So as I talked to Kristen, are you sure? We just left here at the end of December. You said you met Keith in February.
Brace for impact.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
Buckle up, here we go. Mr. Calhoun kicks off the courtroom drama by alleging Ms. Prout bamboozled him into believing he's the father of her daughter, Amia, while also playing the field with other guys. He's dead set on proving through DNA that he's not the dad. Let's see how that pans out. Next scene is a doozy.
This is a case of Calhoun versus Prout.
Mr. Calhoun, you say the defendant tried to trick you into believing you are her daughter Amaya's biological father. But after uncovering evidence that she slept with other men, you are positive the DNA will prove you are not.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you believe this? Mr. Calhoun spills the tea about his rocky roller coaster of a relationship with Ms. Prout, emphasizing how he put the brakes on when she wanted to get serious. Despite cutting romantic ties, their casual rendezvous didn't exactly stop, if you catch my drift. Oh, and just wait for what's up next. It's quite the eyebrow raiser.
Mr. Calhoun, you say Ms. Prout is pinning this child on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
Me and Ms. Prout have been friends for a while. When I seen that she wanted to make a relationship out of things, I cut her off, and I just kind of pushed away from her.
How did you cut her off?
I stopped calling, stopped answering her calls and texts, pretty much ignored her existence.
Because she wanted to get serious.
Yes, ma'am.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Ms. Prout walks us through the saga of her pregnancy discovery and the mutual shock shared with Mr. Calhoun, leading to his push for a DNA test. This highlight reels us deeper into Mr. Calhoun's doubts about daddy duty. Hang on, because it only gets wilder from here.
And at some point you found out you were pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. Me and a family member of his, we went to the store, I bought a pregnancy test, went back to his house, took the test, it was positive. The next day I told him and showed him the test, we were both in this. We were both in disbelief, Your Honor, that I was
true.
pregnant. Somewhere in there, you believed that I was pregnant because you wanted a DNA test.
Grab your popcorn, folks. As the plot thickens, Mr. Calhoun throws a curveball by accusing Ms. Prout of using fertility treatments to trap him, which she vehemently denies. The accusation sends their already stormy dispute into overdrive, unraveling layers of mistrust and drama. You'll be glued to your seat for what comes next.
After I found out that she said she was pregnant, I blocked her on all social media and everything because I thought she was crazy. She called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
No, Your Honor, that was not what said. I did not take any fertility pills. Once I found out I was pregnant, I went to about 4 or 5 in the emergency room, and they all confirmed I was pregnant. I was still in disbelief, went to 3 clinics.
Next up, we've got some serious calendar scrutiny. Ms. Prout lays out the timeline with a calendar in court, pointing to specific dates that supposedly seal the deal on Mr. Calhoun's paternity. He retorts with suspicions of her liaisons with other beaux. This calendar clash is just heating up. Brace yourself for the fallout.
The calendar you submitted to the court.
Yes,
The red indicates that you were intimate with Mr. Calhoun unprotected, and the yellow indicates the window of conception. So as you can see, the day you said you had with Mr. Calhoun directly in the window of conception.
Yes.
And that's why you believe he is the father of your child.
Yes.
You won't see this coming. Mr. Calhoun recounts the high-pressure moment he was allegedly strong-armed into signing the birth certificate under duress, highlighting his ongoing paternity doubts and the emotional whirlwind at the hospital. The stakes are high, and the next bit will have you reeling.
How did you end up signing the birth certificate?
So we're in there by ourselves. Told her I didn't want to sign without a DNA test. So she gets to basically making me feel like a bad guy. Like, you know, you had unprotected sex with me. You know that's your daughter. I even look at the papers and see she didn't even have my last name and daughter's last name. I had to tell her if this is daughter you want me to sign, put my name on there.
And the plot thickens even more. Demetria Dawson, the god sister, steps up with a bombshell testimony, suggesting Ms. Prout might have been preggers before Mr. Calhoun re-entered the picture. This revelation throws another wrench into the already chaotic narrative. Fasten your seatbelts. This ride's not over.
Ms. Dawson, you are what relationship Prout?
God sister.
You are her god sister. Information as to what the relationship between Ms. Prout and Mr. Calhoun.
God sister was having unprotected sex with another man. Also, before he came into the picture, myself and also other members felt that my god sister was already pregnant because of her demeanor, her mood change. She was very moody.
Get ready for the jaw dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Calhoun, you are the father.
Buckle up, because this opening is just the tip of the iceberg. The episode kicks off with the introduction of the case Rogers versus Stone by the court clerk and a light-hearted greeting exchange. Ms. Rogers claims Mr. Stone, her childhood friend turned elementary school sweetheart, is the father of her son, Christian, despite his adamant denials and accusations of her promiscuity. You won't believe what comes next.
You say after an encounter with elementary school sweetheart, you ended up pregnant. You say the defendant has gone through great lengths to deny he is the father of your son, Christian. You say Ms. Rogers is promiscuous. It was only a casual fling. You say she has even slept with some of your friends, and therefore it is impossible you are the father of her baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Strap in. The emotional roller coaster is just starting. Ms. Rogers vividly describes a serendipitous reunion with Mr. Stone at a friend's house, leading to a complex, intimate violence relationship. She paints a picture of confusion and hurt after discovering he had a girlfriend, which ultimately snapped the thread of their communication. And just when you think it couldn't get more tangled, watch out for the next clip.
I met him in elementary school. We was friends. I kind of moved away after a while, close friends, but we never kept in touch because one day after some years of being apart, I was at my friend's house, or I was at her boyfriend's house, chilling, and he walked through the door, and I'm like, really? We was talking, laughing, joke times, how you been, catching up and stuff. We went back to my friend's house with her boyfriend, and we had sex that day.
Can you handle more twists? Watch this heated clash where Ms. Rogers and Mr. Stone passionately dispute the events of their fateful reunion and what followed at the friend's house. Accusations flaze about Ms. Rogers' interactions with other men, which she vehemently denies, sparking even more tension and conflicting stories. Hold tight, because the fireworks are just getting started.
When I walked into that house, it was at one of my friend's house. And when I walked in, she was already hugged up with one of my friends.
I was not hooked up with nobody. When he walked in the door, I was sitting at the table. The friend that he was talking about was in the kitchen. I was not sitting on nobody's lap.
And we caught eyes. She was on his lap. And
I was not on his lap.
We ended up talking.
He could make you believe I was.
Just when you thought it was cooling down, the conversation veers into the repercussions of their fleeting relationship, with Ms. Rogers alleging she was deceived by Mr. Stone about his relationship status, adding layers of complication to their already chaotic interactions. Mr. Stone counters her claims with doubts about her honesty, hinting at deep-seated trust issues. Guess what? The next part ramps it up even further.
Your friends were talking, and you all basically compared notes?
No, what happened
Probably
was
so.
that,
All lying together.
I knew Destiny for a while, you feel me? So I was like, you talked to her? He like, yeah, I talked to her. We did this, we did that. So I'm like, oh, really? So I'm like, when was this? He broke it down to me like, yeah, we did it the day before. I want to say 3 days after. Told me she was pregnant. He want to say they did it around twice.
Grab your popcorn. This twist is jaw-dropping. Ms. Rogers details her shocking discovery of pregnancy during a routine doctor's visit, setting the stage for a major confrontation about responsibilities and expectations of parenthood. Mr. Stone disputes her narrative, especially concerning their discussions, or the lack thereof, about the pregnancy. The stakes are high, and the next revelation is even more dramatic.
How'd you find out you were pregnant?
I went to the doctor to get my birth control shot. I know I'm having sex, so I'm like, I need to go because I don't want to have no more. I didn't want no more kids because I had just gotten something. Everything was looking up. So I was like, I wanted like the cap on before anything happened, not knowing that I was already pregnant. Another baby. I called him and told him I was pregnant.
We never had a conversation.
No.
Not once.
When
what happened was, this particular day, I was in the car with one of my friends. He pulled up on me.
Get ready for the bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
Buckle up, folks. Miss Chappelle, a married woman, casually drops the bomb that she had an affair. And now she's got major doubts about the paternity of her 5-month-old daughter. She lays out the messy situation with a mix of nerves and regret. And oh boy, you won't believe the curveball that's coming next.
Oh, you're a married woman who admits to having an affair, and now you say you have questions regarding your 5-month-old daughter's paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you imagine? Right at the get-go, the judge brings in Miss Chappelle's dad, Mr. Wells, who's absolutely against opening this can of worms today. He shares a tearjerker about the chaos that erupted in their family the last time they went down this road. Hold on to your seats because this emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Standing next to you is your father, Mr. Wells. He doesn't want you to get the results today. He claims when you were a young girl, you learned that he was not your biological father, and that news had a devastating impact on your family.
Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Chappelle initially was over the moon about the pregnancy news, but his joy crashed and burned when his wife hit him with the "you might not be the daddy" line. His heartache is as palpable as it gets. Get ready, next bit is going to add even more spice to this drama stew.
So, Mr. Chappelle, you say you were elated when your wife told you she was pregnant. And then that joy turned to pain when she revealed you may not be biological father. You admit you'll be heartbroken if today's test results prove your wife's lover is in fact the child's biological.
Here's where it gets super heavy. Mr. Wells, with years of baggage weighing him down, argues against revealing the paternity results, fearing a repeat of past family drama. Despite his pleas, the Chappelles are dead set on uncovering the truth. Just wait till you see what's around the corner.
So, Mr. Wells, why are you so adamant about not wanting them to have these results today?
I met her mother when she was pregnant, about 3 months, and it just come to we made an agreement one time. It's the point that the granddaughter, I don't want to see her go down that road. Some things are better left unsaid, ma'am.
With the determination of a reality TV star at a rose ceremony, Miss Chappelle stands firm on proceeding with the paternity test. Her speech about her daughter deserving the truth might just bring a tear to your eye. But hold up, the next scene is about to dial up the tension.
There's no offense to him. It hurt me when I grew up not knowing who my dad was. Finding out when I was younger like that, it really tore me apart. My daughter doesn't deserve that. She deserves to know.
Mr. Wells, please take a seat.
Here we go. The couple's bedroom woes take center stage, and Miss Chappelle doesn't hold back on the details. She sought excitement outside her marriage, which she regrets. But hey, she loves her daughter to bits. Brace yourselves, because the story's about to get juicier.
Wife tells not happy like that. You should want to listen to her. That's what made me go and do what I did and found somebody that gave me what I needed. I do regret it every day, but I don't regret my daughter. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So you admit to having an affair?
Yes, I did.
Oh, the scandal. Miss Chappelle spills all the tea about how the affair kicked off with some risque, intimate violence. The timeline she sketches out of her rendezvous with both her lover and her husband makes pinpointing daddy a real head-scratcher. You'll want to stick around for the fallout from this bombshell.
Messages on Facebook. I dropped my son off at the babysitter's. I would tell my husband I was going somewhere else. We had what I wanted sexually. I was so excited because this guy gave me what I wanted. Scared to go in there and jerk my clothes off and say, I want you like this. I want somebody to take control over me like that. I should be able to experience that with my husband.
Yikes, talk about playing with fire. Miss Chappelle admits the risks she took with unprotected, intimate violence, and the courtroom practically gasps in unison. As the reality of her decision sinks in, get ready, because this tale is about to throw throw another wild card into the mix.
Always unprotected sex. I figured he would pull out, but he never did. And I would tell him constantly, I don't want to get pregnant, and he would never listen to me.
I'm working 40 hours a week trying to provide for my family.
And you can't just blame it all on me, because it's a marriage. And I kept telling you I was unhappy, and you didn't want to listen to me.
Exactly, that's the magic word,
what
marriage.
got where we're
supposed
at
to be
today.
married.
Get the popcorn ready. Mr. Chappelle's world is rocked by the affair revelation, and the possibility of not being the father adds salt to the wound. His agony is almost too much to watch. And just when you think it can't get more intense, the next revelation is a doozy.
Unprotected sex, you could have gave me something. You know, there's stuff out there you could have caught and gave it to me.
So, Mr. Chappelle, when she was pregnant, did you have any idea at that point whether this affair was going on, that if it was going on?
Nah, I had no idea. I was blindsided.
Who would have thought? In a bizarre twist, both potential dads were initially in the running to be included in the prenatal appointments. This messy decision highlights the turmoil swirling around Miss Chappelle as she grapples with guilt and the impact of her choices. But wait, there's more chaos to come.
Fought a lot, we argued a lot.
I tried to cover it up the best I could.
Support her through the entire pregnancy.
Yes.
You go to doctor's visit.
We tried to invite the other guy at first. He was okay with it at first.
Your Honor.
And I told him, I said, you know, this guy kept making excuses not to show up. My husband, he's like,
Hold on.
Things are heating up. Following the affair's exposure, the couple's relationship hits rock bottom. Miss Chappelle moves back with her family, marking a significant turn in this soap opera. The drama doesn't end here, though. The next part is a real jaw-dropper.
Whenever I told him I was pregnant, I had gotten into an argument. We were on the way home, and he said, you messed up, you're a slut, calling me names, and I was 6 weeks pregnant. And he's like, you need to get out of my house. I had to go move in with my family. The whole time, this other guy, he doesn't want me to tell my husband. He wants to keep everything a secret, and I couldn't do it anymore.
The courtroom is all ears as the couple navigates the tricky waters of inviting the other man to prenatal visit. The implications for their child's future and their own marriage are enormous. Grab your tissues, because what happens next will tug at your heartstrings.
Got our marriage with another man at the doctor's office.
Man, I understand that, but you have to try to do the right thing for my little girl. I wanted her to know, well, there's a chance somebody else. Why didn't you introduce him to me?
Did not see that coming. The other man turns out to be married too, adding an extra layer of scandal. Mr. Chappelle doesn't shy away from confronting the other man's wife with the messy truth. And trust me, you'll want to see how she reacts. Coming up next.
You all didn't say this other man was married.
Yeah.
No wonder he was.
I've even told his wife on. I sent her a message on Facebook.
So, you sent his wife a message?
I didn't want nothing from him.
The truth is, we did surround, and he might have a baby.
Miss Chappelle really lays it all out there, owning up to her affair and the ensuing mess. Her honesty, against a backdrop of secrecy, paints a poignant picture of her attempt to mend fences. The stakes are high, and the next scene will have you on the edge of your seat.
You were
I did come out, everything about my affair, I did come out and tell him.
Mr. Chappelle, at some point you say you went to the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
Talked to this wife and told her what was going on. And her response, she still didn't believe.
She said that they didn't do anything. I said, you'll find out.
Tell me about the birth of the baby. Did the man show up?
The arrival of the baby adds a whole new layer of complexity. As both parents pore over her features, trying to detect familial resemblances, the suspense is thicker than a mystery novel. But don't go anywhere. The climax of this courtroom drama is just moments away.
And this is a picture of the baby.
That's when she was first born.
When you saw her, did you look at her and say, I wonder, does she look like me?
I saw the blonde curly hair and kind of gave me excitement about it because I knew I had curly hair when I was a baby.
When I first saw her, I thought that kind of looked like the other guy, hair when they were younger. So that's what gave us like the doubt.
It's the moment of truth everyone's been waiting for.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Chappelle, you are not her biological father.
Why'd you do this for?